And we should mention that the vice president, in fact, met with House Democrats just moments ago. And on his way to that meeting, he said he was going to announce right now. Meantime, Donald Trump appears to be open, perhaps, to hearing different ideas about things such as climate change after previously denying it as a Chinese-generated hoax. The president-elect and his daughter Ivanka both met with former Vice President Al Gore yesterday. Gore, a vocal advocate for fighting climate change. Gore described the meeting as a productive one and said that it was, and I quote, a sincere search for areas of common ground, end quote. To discuss it all, Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan joins us now from Capitol Hill, and lots to get to with you, Congressman. But first, the news, however tongue-in-cheek, of the moment. Biden 2020, what do you make of it?
I love Joe Biden. I love the fact that he still wants to be in the arena. He still wants to fight. He believes in what he's fighting for, and I think it's great. That's why he's our guy.
I do want to address the former VP and Mr. Trump's meeting in just a moment. But first, Congressman, you received 63 votes in your challenge of Nancy Pelosi for House Minority Leader. Mm-hmm. What has changed for you since mounting that challenge?
Well, a lot more people know who I am, for starters. But, you know, I think we've effected real change within our caucus. We've opened it up. We've had a bunch of competitive races for different positions within the caucus that otherwise either didn't exist or no one competed for them, or the caucus actually had a vote. So we're seeing a lot of changes internally that are going to bring out some of the young, new talent that we have in our caucus that we really need to tap into. So that was a big change. And then I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've really shifted the discussion, into more economic areas, that is really the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. I believe it to be the heart and soul of the Democratic Party, and I fought in the last 2 weeks to really bring that front and center, and all those working class people that I represent and that are around the country. I want them to know that we hear them, we care about them, and they're going to be our focus moving forward.
So on that front, how to get things going?
Well, obviously the Democrats are in the minority now, but I think we need to start offering bold proposals. I mean, what's happening now is not working, and we're not going to fix things for these working class families by going small. We need to go big, and that means we need to talk about how we fix the health care and moving towards what I think should be a Medicare for all health care program in the United States. I believe that we need to have a huge jobs program. I'm not talking about a small transportation bill, but I'm talking about rebuilding communities all over the United States like Youngstown, knocking down the old dilapidated homes, rebuilding our downtowns, roads, bridges, broadband all across the country. How do we move to a renewable energy grid? Jobs that can't be outsourced. In healthcare, for example, those jobs can't be outsourced. Redoing the grid, those jobs can't be outsourced. Really, when you look at renewable energy, when you look at the huge wind turbines, a lot of those products can't be outsourced. Let's do that here, and let's get our people back to work and make sure everybody in America has a good paying job.
Now, it is something that has seen a measure of bipartisan support, that of which you speak, but how to pay for it?
Well, the Republicans are in charge now, so they're going to have to figure out how to do that. And I'm already sensing some resistance from some in the House Republican caucus on not wanting to pay for it, or want to just work out some gimmick or some tax credit, or just bring some money in from overseas. That's not going to get the job done. I'm going to tell you right now, $400 billion in infrastructure spending is not going to get people back to work. It just isn't. It's going to get very few, but not a lot. We need to go big, and we have the highest concentration of wealth that we've had since the Great Depression. We've seen the top 10% see all of the income gains, over the last 20 or 30 years, almost all of them. So the bottom 90% has seen no gains at all. So we need to ask those people who have helped ship the jobs overseas to pay for programs here in the United States to put our people back to work.
Advocacy then, center stage for you, if nothing else. There was advocacy of a point that we saw in North Dakota. I want to get your reaction to the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline that's now been halted. Democratic Senator of North Dakota, however, Heidi Heitkamp, has pointed out that the protesters, she believes, are still fighting a losing fight. What do you make of the decision, and what do you make of what Senator Heitkamp sees as a decision that will be undone with the new administration?
Well, it doesn't mean that the protesters shouldn't do what they feel that they need to do. Look, this is sacred land for them, and this is obviously going under a water source for them that they're concerned about. There seems to be a reasonable workaround to go around this sacred land, and I just can't imagine we wouldn't be able to respect the historical significance of the tribe on that land, respect their sacred land, and work around that. That to me is an accommodation that is completely appropriate. And if it costs a few bucks more for a company that's doing pretty well, I think that's a significant or insignificant ask for us.
And perhaps it will require reaching across the aisle to a degree. It was something that we found out that Mr. Trump, in fact, did yesterday in receiving Al Gore, former vice president, noted climate change activist, after he had met with Donald Trump's eldest daughter, Ivanka. What'd you make of the fact that Mr. Trump, if nothing else, sat down with Al Gore, in fact, to discuss, it would seem, common ground as it regards climate change?
Well, I think it seems hopeful that Ivanka and President-elect Trump would sit down with someone like Al Gore. It seems to me that it opens him up to the idea that this is a problem that man is causing, and there's something we need to do about it. And I hope we get to the point where we can recognize that actually a clean energy economy is about manufacturing jobs in places like Youngstown, Ohio, or Gary, Indiana, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin, because a lot of the component parts that go into a windmill, wind turbine, there's about 8,000 of them. There are gear shifts, there are hydraulics, there's aluminum, there's steel, there's gearboxes. This is the stuff we make in the industrial Midwest. So a move to a clean energy economy is really an opportunity to resuscitate manufacturing. Same with solar panels. So I think these things aren't mutually exclusive. It could be both good for the environment, good for climate change, and good for manufacturing in the industrial Midwest. So I think it's a great way forward for us, and I hope that at the end of the day, we can work something out where everybody benefits. The globe and the planet benefit, future generations benefit, and current working class people who aren't seeing an increase in their wages can start making things that are going to allow them to get paid, have a pension, and some good health care. I
want to get you out of here on this one, perhaps on something of a lighter note. Congressman, you also make out there in the industrial Midwest some football players. Your Buckeyes. You've made the Final Four, if you will. Can you break down what I'm sure you see as a victory over Clemson, followed by another victory over Alabama for us?
Well, look, man, I got my Urban Meyer juice wristband on.
What would
We're going to bring
do?
The juice.
Yeah, that's good.
We're going to bring the juice to Clemson, and then I've got a brother-in-law who lives in Alabama and a sister-in-law who lives in Alabama. Huge, obnoxious Alabama Crimson Tide fans, and they think the same of us up in Ohio, and we're hoping that we get to beat them in the championship game.
Well, congratulations on a big win over Michigan. Questions about instant replay and first down markers will have to be saved for another time.
Oh, come on.
And all manner of conspiracy theory. Congressman Tim Ryan, very much appreciate the time and the insight.
Thanks.